Okay, quick news video because some stuff came out, so we're going to talk about it. First thing to talk about is that the Chimera apparently got a revamp. This was a bit of a surprise because there was no announcement. There was no blog post, no 10 Forward Weekly showcase, nothing. It just kind of showed up with Thursday's patch. However, thanks to Thomas Maroney, we know why there was no announcement for this, and that's because it wasn't supposed to come out on Thursday. It accidentally dropped early. But it's here now, it's not going to go away, it's because, it's done, it's on the live server, no point in taking it away. So there it is. It looks really nice, too. Look at this thing, it's much smoother, it looks much more well-defined, there's a lot of these cool little details. I like these windows and, the front of the saucer and under the bridge, those look nice. Now, some of you probably noticed that this doesn't look a lot like the old veteran hull material, which, had the weird blue glowy lines in between the hull plates, and that's because they didn't remaster the old hull material. In fact, this new remaster actually uses the hull material from the California class, which I don't know why that amuses me, but it does amuse me. I'm sure some of you are going to be annoyed that they didn't remaster the old veteran hull material, but honestly, I don't mind it because, it doesn't look very Starfleet looking. This looks so much more like a proper Starfleet ship. And why shouldn't the Chimera look like a proper Starfleet ship? Because that's what it is. Not only is it a normal Starfleet ship, this is a prominent ship in Star Trek Online because this is Captain Nog's ship. Which, fun sidebar about Nog, I doubt this was an intentional homage, but in the Star Trek Coda books, that was the trilogy that brought the old Star Trek literary universe to an end. In those books, Nog is the first officer of a California class. And now his ship in Star Trek Online uses the hull of a California class ship. Like I said, I doubt it was an intentional homage, but I did find it to be a funny coincidence. Here's another shot from the underside of the hull. Again, just some nice detail, just overall improving the whole look of the ship. It's not a huge, vast change to it, but it is enough to make this look like a much nicer ship. Going back to the hull materials, like I said, this is going to have the California class hull as its default from now on, but it will also have access to the Defiant, Galaxy, Intrepid types 0 through 8B, as well as the old upgrade, the Vesta hull, and the old veteran hull. Oh, and the new default windows and escape pods, those are from the Sovereign class. I'll link this thread down in the video's description in case you want to give it a read for yourself, but it's not a long thread, but Thomas does go a little bit further into talking about the history of the Chimera, both, more so on the design side, because this was one of the ships that was submitted for the Design the Next Enterprise contest. What ended up being called the Chimera class was a submission to the Design of the Next Enterprise contest by Jason Lee, which, fun fact, for this revamp, instead of Stowe's internal team doing the remastering, they actually had Jason Lee himself do the remaster for this ship. Jason Lee also posted some of his own renders of the remastered Chimera on his own Twitter. I'll link this tweet down in the video's description if you want to get a better look at these pictures, because they are really nice. Yeah, this is a fantastic revamp. It looks gorgeous, and I'm just really happy that it's in the game because it makes the Chimera look so much better. Now, I'm sure there are some of you who are really wishing that the Manticore was also getting a revamp. Well, good news. Thomas has confirmed that the Manticore is also getting a revamp. In fact, he posted a picture of it later on after the Chimera leaked. The Manticore revamp seems to be a bit more straightforward. It didn't seem to add quite as much detail. Of course, the ship isn't nearly as old as the original Chimera, so there probably isn't as much detail that needs to be added. But at the same time, you can still see more definition on these windows under the bridge and on the forward end of the saucer, just like on the Chimera. They also added some other details up here on the pod, like these extra phaser arrays. There's a phaser turret here, and whatever these triangular things are, I don't know what they are, though according to Tumor Boy, that's Nick Duguid, one of the environment artists, they are fins that make it go faster, which just makes sense, honestly. So yeah, until we get a better explanation for that, that's canon. But yeah, you can see it's using the Type 7A hull. I'm pretty sure it's still using the same windows and escape pods, which yeah, that's still pretty standard for the Type 7A design aesthetic. Currently, we have no idea when the remastered Manticore is supposed to come out. I assume it and the remastered Chimera were supposed to come out at the same time, but again, the Chimera dropped early by accident, so who knows when this will be dropped. There will probably be an announcement sometime soon. I know there's a 10 Forward Weekly coming up this week, so yeah, fingers crossed we find out then. I know they're announcing a new ship on 10 Forward Weekly. No idea what it is yet, but I'm sure there are some guesses already. So yeah, we might hear word on this then, but we'll have to see. Another question I think should be getting asked right now is, why are these ships getting remasters currently? In the past, whenever Cryptic has released a remastered version of a ship, it's usually because that ship is getting a new Tier 6 version. Now, this hasn't always been the case, but it usually is more so than not. So this remaster really has me wondering, are we getting a new version of the Chimera? And the other big question there is, how is it going to be released? Currently, I see two options. Either this hypothetical new Chimera is going to be introduced to the lifetime subscription like its predecessors are going to be, making this the first new addition to the lifetime subscription since Victory is Life, or they could break with that mold and decide to release that ship via other means besides the lifetime subscription. Now, I'm sure some of you are already wanting to scream, event ship! It better be an event ship! And I wouldn't get attached to that idea, assuming this hypothetical ship is even going to be real in the first place. Again, I am merely speculating, but I wouldn't get attached to the idea of a version of the Chimera being an event ship, because Stowe doesn't really release faction ships, the playable faction ships. They don't really release those as event ships. Probably the only exception was the Eisenberg class, which, that was the USS Nog in Star Trek Discovery. And they released that as an event ship because of, who it was named after, Aaron Eisenberg, who was a huge part of Star Trek Online. And, his death really impacted Star Trek Online and Cryptic really hard, as well as the rest of the fan base. And they really wanted to honor him by making that an event ship. Now, you could argue that they could be doing the same thing here with this ship, because I already said earlier in the video that Chimera is Nog's ship in Star Trek Online. So maybe they could do that, but again, it seems more likely to me that if they're not going to release a new version of the Chimera via the lifetime subscription, it'll probably be in the C-Store. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being part of the next anniversary bundle. Now, I do want to reiterate that this is just speculation on my part. Cryptic's given no indications that there's going to be a new playable version of the Chimera, released by any means into the game, beyond the fact that there's going to be a remaster. And it is very possible that these are only getting remasters just because they felt like it and they managed to fit it into the schedule somehow. So, like I said, just because it's getting a remaster does not definitely mean it's getting a new version, but I'm more so hopeful than anything else, because I would love to see a new version of the Chimera, because, frankly, I'm not a big fan of the existing version of the Chimera. Or I should say the Manticore, because the T6 Manticore right now, in its current state in the game, it's not a bad ship, but it's very much been showing its age over the past several years. Actually, let's take a look at the old Manticore, which this is the fleet version of the Manticore. It's a heavy destroyer, which that's pretty cool. It's got decent bridge officer seating. Like, it's got a good amount of universal seating in here. It's got a 4-3 weapons layout and a command seat, so it's a decent torpedo build. But the big downside to this ship is that it is not full spec. That that command seat is only lieutenant commander level, and it does not have the full command, the full inspiration mechanic that usually you get on full command ships. So like I said, it's not a bad ship, but at the same time, there are plenty of C-Store ships that will do just as well as this thing can. And keep in mind that this ship is only available via the lifetime subscription, which is a significant investment. Whereas any Tier 6 C-Store ship is just $30, and that's assuming it's not on sale. So yeah, a new version of the Chimera might be coming, or it might not. Only time will tell, but personally, I'm in the camp of, I really hope we do get a new version of the ship. Honestly, I don't even care how it's released, either via the lifetime sub or via some other means. I would love to see a new version of it with better stats. Speaking of the lifetime sub, there are a couple other things to talk about, one of which is a sale on the lifetime subscription on all platforms currently going on right now. From November 9th to November 11th, which is, oh, that's today, isn't it? Yeah, that's my bad. But yeah, from the till about a couple hours before this video goes live, the lifetime sub is 50% off, which is a really great time to get that if you've had an eye on that. But don't worry, if you are missing out on that, which, again, my bad for getting this out so late. I am embarrassed. But yeah, from the 11th to December 14th, that'll still be 33% off, which still not a bad price to pay for that, but at the same time, maybe wait till the next 50% off sale. And another thing to talk about is another surprise that came with Thursday's patch is a nice little quality of life improvement for ground combat. For years now, we've only been able to have 3 bars on our ground trays for ground, but Cryptic has finally updated that, so now you can add up to 8, just like you can in space. Now, 8 bars is certainly excessive for ground combat, but for ages now, I've been wanting to be able to add a 4th bar to my ground build, and yeah, it wouldn't let me, and now I finally can. So I am very happy with this update. So, you know, whoever's responsible for that, thank you. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this video, though I did want to talk about one change that I am doing with the channel right now. In my last video, someone complained about how they were having trouble hearing me over the music in the video, and God, the music in the videos is something I am just constantly struggling with, apparently. Every time I think I have it right, someone points out in the comments, oh, it's kind of hard to hear you over the music. So I'm done trying. This video is going to be released without music over the main part of the video, and we're gonna just see how that goes from then on. And hopefully that'll be something you guys like more. If you miss it, let me know, and I'll try putting it back. But for now, I'm just gonna, you know, be raw dogging the audio for a little bit. It's a really gross and not really accurate way of putting that, but, you know, it's done. Anyway, what should the question for today be? What do you guys think a new version of the Manticore should look like, you know, stats-wise? Because the current tier 6 version, it makes a pretty decent torpedo boat because it does have that command seat, and you could feed further into that by making it a full command ship, but personally, I've always felt that the Manticore should be better suited for an energy weapon build because of the Phaser Lotus console that it comes with. Seriously, slap a Miracle Worker seat onto that thing, and that Phaser Lotus console will get a lot more use. Ooh, maybe I should do a Theorycraft video on this. Let me know what you guys think the ship should be down in the comments, and let me know if you want to see that Theorycraft video. While you're down there, be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. If you'd like to further support the channel, you can hit that join button to become a member, or hit the super thanks button, or you can find the link to the merch store in the video's description. If you're ever shopping on the Epic Game Store, be sure to use my content creator code STU1701. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help me out, and I do appreciate that. That is Epic content creator code STU1701. Either way, though, thank you so much for watching. My name's Stu, and I will see you guys next time.